Hello everybody, what's up and welcome back to the Starcraft 2 Ownage Shack. Going to be bringing you a Terran versus Zerg commentary here today. Going to be between the Zerg player Viper and the Terran player KaySee. These are both Master League players of that caliber, and it's going to be on Xel'Naga Caverns here. And this is going to be the commentary I promised you for Terran versus Zerg week. So anyways, let's just bring up the names right here, and there we have it. It's going to be Viper at the top position, and his Terran opponent, KaySee, is going to be here at the bottom position. And yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see. This is a live commentary, as you can see. Going to be no overlay here. Yeah, kind of interesting to do some live commentaries every once in a while. Normally I do work off of replays, but this adds a little bit more excitement to the cast, I suppose, among other things, of course. And looks like we have SCVs coming out for KaySee. In case you did not realize that that's what was happening. And at the same time, Viper is indeed making drones. Lots of drones coming out. And yeah, of course, in a matchup such as this, not going to really see any deviation unless, you know, a 6-pool or something like that was going on. Looks like KaySee is going to be walling here. And it looks like he's got that queued up to build the barracks at the wall immediately thereafter. So, very, very standard stuff. The real question is he going to be taking a gas? Is he going to be throwing down a 14 racks? Or is he going to be going straight for the command center? On this map, I think 14 barracks with the 12 barracks, a 2 racks push slash pressure build can be quite effective, especially if Zerg is taking a fast expansion, and it looks like that is exactly what Viper here wants to do. His drone is already in place. Oh, I like that. Going to be scouting for some proxies right there. Always good to make sure, of course. Be sure that you have enough time to do that, because you don't want to delay your expo by too much. But it looks like Viper's right on time with his 300 minerals. A really good, solid play right there. And it looks like he's opting for, looks like it was a scout right after, or a 14 scout rather. Very standard on this map since it is one-on-one, and it is going to be a gas build. So, I'm sorry, I'm very itchy right now. It's a gas build, so it could be a number of things. I think Hellions seem to be the flavor of the month, so it would not surprise me in the least to see that coming from KaySee. Of course, Viper should be getting some Zerglings after this spawning pool is done. Typically, you'll see about 4 of them. It looks like it's going to be a gas right about now, so no Spinishwa style coming here. And yeah, it's definitely a good idea. On this map, there's really no place you can easily take a third and defend it because of these destructible rocks. It's just not as good here. Really good on maps such as Shakura's Plateau, however. And it looks like we do have a factory coming down for KaySee right here. I definitely like this. The only other option, of course, that you could have with that gas is to throw it on a tech lab and pump some Reapers. But generally speaking, it's less common, although it is quite good actually to Reaper expand into siege tanks. It can be really, really decent. And, looks like we have a bunker going down. With 2 Marines on the way, and 6 Zerglings are coming out for Viper. So, yeah, he should be pretty well prepared for this if he sees it. Let's just take a look at his vision. No, he has not seen it yet. The Overlord will see the Marines, however, and that should probably signal him to go and check this out. This bunker, as it stands now, is not going to be a huge deal, especially with only 1 barracks, but it's still something you don't want, nonetheless. So, oops. So there you go. Starport coming out with Hellion. Very cool. Zerglings still going to be killing that. Does it get? Looks like he does get the salvage off in time, and we should be seeing a command center here, if that is what he wants to do. He's got enough minerals almost. Nope, going to be going for more Hellions, it looks like. So Starport with factory and barracks. This can probably this could be a number of things. We could see a Hellion drop into the main. But I would not also be surprised to see a Banshee push with this. It can be really, really effective if Zerg overreacts with a ton of Lings. And let's see what he's going to be doing. Okay, Medevac. So it is going to be that drop tactic. It's definitely still good. You can drop units up here, force the Zerglings back, and then run in with your other troops and do some damage at their mineral line in the natural. But looks like double spines are coming down. It's a great choice. Definitely good. He sees the Hellions, so he's probably reacting to that. Speed is almost done. Typically, you'll see that finish around the 6-minute, 25-second mark if they were perfect with their timing on the gas. And it looks like he indeed was. And he's still mining gas here. So it's probably going to be a faster lair this game, or even possibly a Baneling nest. But I don't know. if we take a look at the units, 14 Zerglings, yeah, so it's definitely a possibility. You don't really want to have all of these Zerglings this early unless you are going to follow it up with a Baneling Nest. But no, going to be that lair after all. Hellions en route with that medevac, and it looks like he's going to actually be following it up with a Banshee. And finally, the command center does go down. So a very delayed expansion. This push needs to do significant damage, or I think KaySee is going to be pretty far behind right now. The Baneling Nest is now on the way, as well as more gas. Is he taking these as well? No. So probably not going to be rushing mutas. You'd obviously want to have all these gas taken eventually if you're going to be building such a gas-intensive unit. Doesn't really take an expert commentator to tell you that. And yeah, so looks like he's going to be engaging, and looks like KaySee is caught a bit out of position there, but a nice load up. Going to allow him to do some damage on the high ground here. He's probably going to have to end this attack right now, though. The Zerglings on creep with speed. Going to be a little bit too fast for KaySee to deal with. And his expansion's now done, but I just don't feel like he did enough damage with that little rush. And let's just take a look at the units tab. Yeah, so it's actually surprisingly even because of all the Zerglings that he forced, but this new round of 7 drones is going to be pretty solid. The Banshee's now coming in, however, and the Spire is nowhere near complete. And yeah, as we all know, one Banshee does beat one Queen in one-on-one battle, so he's going to have to bring the next Queen down. But look at this. Viper's already put creep tumors, but multi-pronged harassment. Zergling's already in place. A really nice play right there. The Banshee has 0 kills so far and is being driven out. Looks like he's finally going to be taking out some drones. And with the Queens healing each other, it should be pretty elementary to get rid of it. But I'm not sure where that other Queen actually went. Oh, it looks like she just retreated up to the main here. Overlords should probably be keeping up. Yeah, can keep an eye out for that medevac right there. As Banshee number 2 rolls in, and what is KaySee going to do after this? Looks like he's got siege tanks coming out, floating the Expo. No siege tech quite yet, but you know that's okay when you're doing this pressure. It's not exactly essential. A little bit faulty on the macro there. There he goes, building more stuff. And yeah, he's going to definitely want to saturate this as soon as possible. He needs all the gas he can get with so many siege tanks going to be coming out, and upgrades as well. Banshee still being very annoying, but the mutas are on the way, and looks like in less than 30 seconds he's going to be able to drive these Banshees home, and looks like this one's already on its way, and this medevac is going to have to be careful as well. So, looks like he does have a full 2-base gas economy, going to be getting out bunches of mutalisks. This is his preferred style. I know this because I've played against Viper quite a few times. He does like those mutas. Muta Bane is a really good style, kind of underused now in favor of Infestors, but still, I absolutely love it. It's really, really good. And you know, I'm really digging this. I like how he's saving these Banshees and bringing them home. It really is important to keep these alive, because in a battle, Banshees can actually deal so much extra damage, and it can possibly turn the battle in your favor. Let's just take a look at the upgrades actually now. Still 0-0, and I don't even think there's an Evo chamber down yet. Nope, there indeed is not. Oh, never mind. Where's that evolution chamber? There it is. Nice SimCity right there. Going to prevent Hellions from squeezing by too fast. And melee attacks level 1 on the way. Banshee's finally going to be cleaned up. That was inevitable, and it looks like that medevac was taken out as well. Let's just take a look. Yeah, it was no medevac on the units tab there. And yeah, looks like Viper with his quite a few mutas actually. It's going to be coming in 10 mutalisks right now against a base that has absolutely no turrets. One is going up at the mineral line, but Marines in place right now should be able to drive out those mutas temporarily at least. They should be able to pick off at least some of the Marines, possibly all of them. Oh my god, instantly taking out the SCV, building that depot, and with another muta reinforcing, it's going to be pretty deadly here if he cannot get out enough Marines to stop this. Stim has just completed, and does he want to do a timing push with that? It does not look like that's the case. Probably going to be waiting for siege tech and possibly combat shield. I just don't see any inkling of a 3rd base being taken yet. Of course, with Viper still on 2 base, there's really no reason for KaySee to be opting for a 3rd. And just as I say that, there goes the 3rd for Viper. So, yeah, this is going to be the time for KaySee. He's going to have to decide, do I want to do a timing push or do I want to take my own 3rd? You know, it's up to you. Both can be very viable strats, but we are just going to have to wait and see. Looks like the mutas are coming in. A bunch of bunkers and Marines are definitely going to be the end of those mutas, though, if they do decide to poke in there a little bit more than they should have. And it looks like we do have an infestation pit. Where is that infestation pit? Is it here? Yeah, there it is. The infestation pit is coming out. Interesting. Very interesting. Infestors or hive tech? That's really the question. And, you know, I'd kind of be inclined to say that infestors might be the way he wants to go. Infestors after mutas can be really good, and it looks like it is because pathogen glands are now on the way. And yeah, I think infestors are a really good choice right now, simply because you force so much Marines with those mutas that he's not going to have enough siege tanks to deal with the infestors. Typically against mutas, you're going to go one factory siege tank. Looks like that is what KaySee's doing. But infestors, you really need two. And look at that. A second factory is going down right now. So hopefully he will get enough siege tanks out to deal with that. He's going to need upgrades on this as well. I'm not quite sure where he's standing right now in the upgrades. Looks like he has 0-0. And yeah, no upgrades are on the way. Finally, starting infantry level 1. But we're going to have to see if this is going to work out. I mean, Viper's been doing a great job of his upgrades. He's got +1 flyer. As he... Oh man, just barely takes out the Raven. In case you don't know, in case you're new to this game, the Raven here, it's not just for detection. It can use a point defense drone to block the muta's attacks. But look at this. The siege tanks are unsieged. All the banelings are rolling in. And that is exactly why you never wander onto creep without being sieged up. Simply put, it's just... The Zerg units are too fast. They'll catch you unsieged, rush in there, and kill you before you can even land a siege tank volley off. And it looks like he's going to be trying some drops. This is a great idea. What KaySee probably should have done instead is drop these off first and make him pull the units back like this, and then push in with the siege tanks and clean out these creep tumors. That's definitely the way you want to go about it. You got to distract first, or Zerg's just going to mass up and roll you like we just saw there. Looks like he is going to try and take that third, so yeah, he's not going to be following this up with another attack. But he did lose so much there. I mean, if we take a look, he's way behind in units lost. It's going to be an uphill battle. I mean, Viper's now erected his third. He's got that, you know, he's got that reasonably saturated. Not full saturation yet, as you can see, 62 drones to 62 SCVs. My goodness. Wow, this man is really great at keeping on top of that SCV production. Very impressive to be on par with his Zerg at this stage of the game. Only temporarily, however. Hive Tech is now on the way. Broodlords, no doubt, you can tell, just because... I mean, he's committing so much to the flyer attacks. Broodlords would be super effective, so to speak. He's got melee attacks coming as well, and that's going to really help the Broodlings. You can go for Ultralisk. Infestor Ultralisk is pretty sick. And the Infestors aren't out quite yet, but, you know, I'm sure that when he does find need for them, he already has the pathogen glands, and there he goes, make him 1. That's really all you need, I guess, right now. And yeah, just a great job of the upgrades altogether for Viper right now. Meanwhile, KaySee's still at 1-0, but he is getting armor level 1. And the other thing he's really going to want to do is upgrade his mech. Yeah, without this, as we can see, Carapace level 2 is almost complete. Siege tanks take 2 shots to kill a Zergling, and yeah, you definitely want to be one-shotting those. It makes such a big difference. Such a big difference. Interestingly, KaySee's going to be opting for the blue minerals instead of the gold base. You know, with all this creep spread, it's no wonder that he's going to be doing that. He's also producing another Raven. Very interesting. Looks like the mutas are finally going to be coming back for another poke here. And somehow, man, KaySee's macro is really off the charts. I mean, he's 143 to 152. It's really impressive after losing all of those units over here. So great job by him. Viper still being quite annoying with those mutas. And if we take a look, it looks like he actually didn't commit too much to those mutas after he made his initial 10. And another push is coming here. Gonna want to siege those up before moving on to the creep. And yeah, this is how you do it. Really nice play. Gonna want to keep some of the Marines back to guard these from the mutas. And KaySee's rolling right into the siege tanks with those banelings. Definitely not cost efficient, but doesn't matter. We're gonna have to see if this Raven drops a PDD. No, gonna be an auto turret, but that is indeed enough to drive those mutas out. Really, really solid play by KaySee right there. And looks like he's going to be taking this opportunity to move into the third base of Viper and hopefully take out some drones. Meanwhile, another Raven is out. He really likes his Ravens. And you know what? I think I'm going to try something like this. Those auto turrets definitely made a huge difference right there. It does clean that up. I did lose some drones, however. I'm sure he had more than that before. And, you know, I've got to say, KaySee with his multitasking is looking pretty solid right now. Alright, looks like the Greater Spire is on the way. So yeah, going to be Broodlords relatively soon here. And yeah, those are going to be so good, especially since he has only a tech lab on that starport. Once the broods are out, you typically will want 2 starports. That's at least what I like. Just so you can get out enough Vikings fast enough that you don't have to deal with the corruptors. So yeah, you can always switch that up with a barracks. And yeah, that's why that armory is so important. Not only does it give you your mech upgrades, it also can give you your ship weapons and ship armor, which is very important. Because as we've already seen, Viper has been, if we can see a flying unit, well, he's been really, yeah, well on top of his upgrades here. Look at that, 2-0 already for his flyers. Looks like the armory is now up constructing the vehicle weapons. Expansion is going to be denied by the remainder of these mutas. Looks like he's committed enough to those. Not going to be making any more. Instead, switching into that really dreaded Infestor Broodlord combination. Man, this is tough to go up against. The Infestors freeze the Marines and deal massive damage, of course, and that really lets the Broodlords rain hell on them. So he's now sieging up, but I think this is going to be, he's going to have to pull out here if those Broodlords morph in time, and it looks like they indeed have, and they're doing 24 damage with that Broodling Strike. Going to be really good. And once these Banes come rolling in, it's going to be a really sick battle. Here comes all the units, and as you can see, without that mech upgrade quite finished, those Zerglings are taking 2 hits to die. And yeah, all the siege tanks get cleaned up. The Banes should be enough to get rid of everything else as the Broodlord goes to work. Gonna probably want to take out that Raven with some extra corruptors, or maybe these mutas, before it can return home. These are really expensive, 200 gas a pop at these guys, so yeah, definitely something you don't want to be throwing away. And it looks like he's actually getting ready for an auto turret here. It's really nice because they actually take a ton of damage before they actually die, so it can be really frustrating to deal with that. And whoa, tons of barracks, multi-barracks coming down right now, as well as additional factories. So that's definitely great. Going to allow him to get a remaxed army way faster. Yeah, Terran really can't compete with Zerg in terms of remaxing until they do something like this. So that's a great move by KaySee. And does he have these rallied back? Yes, he does. Oh my gosh, this guy's really good. A really good play. You know, despite having somewhat of an inferior unit composition, he's really been keeping on top of everything this game in terms of getting back into it with macro and such. And the Broodlords, they're left undefended, and he looks like he's going to lose every single one. Will this one escape? Oh, no, it doesn't. And even losing these Marines, it would still be a fair trade. Does he have siege tanks, though? He needs to siege those up ASAP. Oh, no. Yeah, you definitely don't want those Banelings rolling into the expansion. So many SCVs are going to go down here if he doesn't pull them. Will he? Oh, no. Loses a bit of them, but yeah, it definitely could have been much worse right there. Muta's still harassing these barracks, and I'm digging this, man. Like, he's got so many Ravens now. Just dumping that extra gas that the Marine tank style gives you into these Ravens can give you a bunch of auto turrets, point defense drones, and detection, of course. So it's just a great choice all around. I like it. The only thing you have to be careful of is that it's going to cut back on your Viking production. So, but other than that, yeah, I'm liking it. It's pretty good. As you can see, yeah, there goes the auto turret up here, killing some units. I'm sure it has some kills. For some reason, it doesn't show you kills on the auto turret, but you know, it's bound to have done something this game. And finally, that expansion's coming back. Scouter with the Overseer. Viper should be sending something over there to deal with that. That isn't a drone. This probably isn't going to be too effective. But yeah, right now, I'm liking Viper's position in this game. He's being allowed to take more bases. He's got 4 bases right now to the Terran's 3, and that's definitely somewhere Zerg wants to be a base ahead. And in terms of upgrades, man, he's just rocking the 2-2 right now. Terran right now is at, looks like it's 2-1 for his infantry, and 3-2 is coming up, you know, sometime in the distant future. And in terms of the mech, still at 1-0. Definitely has enough to be upgrading more mech, so I'd like to see that. And yeah, once he gets this army rolling, I mean, all these siege tanks, it's going to be really good. Just mix in a couple of Vikings there with point defense drone to stop those Corruptor shots. And you can be pretty decent versus Broodlords, but, you know, I like what Viper's actually doing now. He's going less Broodlords, more Infestors. Are really going to make those Ravens a little bit less useful. Of course, their biggest use, Ravens, is the point defense drone versus those Corruptors and Mutas. And without many of those in this army. In fact, none of those. Probably not going to be too good. And it looks like he's unsieged right now. Needs to siege back up. Pull these Marines back, but he's not going to. And Viper's just going to crush through this army, it looks like. A bunch of auto turrets actually went up right there. But it doesn't look like it's going to matter. The fungal prevented those Marines from running away. And they might have even died before the Banes even hit. I mean, a fungal growth does really well versus bio right now. And that might have been the death blow to KaySee. A Viper with the clutch fungal right there, engaging right as the army was unsieged. Looks like he's already almost doubled the supply. And with this much bank and all these hatches, I think it's going to be elementary for him to re-macro up. Yeah, Zerglings streaming in, infested Terrans. Siege tanks, racking up some kills here, but they should be cleaned up pretty soon. And there goes the GG and the Psy, and looks like Viper is going to be taking this game. So once again, guys, thank you for tuning in to Terran vs. Zerg Week. Hope you enjoyed the commentary, and I hope to see you again for another daily dose of Ownage.